Começando aqui uma live com o pessoal dos BOCAIS de R. Hoje o Brian Scriver, right?
Sim, yes.
Falei certo, Brian Scriver. Ele trabalha com o GR, já faz um bom tempo. Vem trabalhando com o GR já faz uns 5 anos. Então, hoje a gente vai falar um pouco dos BOCAIS, como começou a empresa, a diferença dos formatos dos BOCAIS, qual a diferença entre os blends, o sinfônico e o Fat Boy e os outros BOCAIS. E quem tiver pergunta pode ir mandando. So, Brian, tell us a little bit how was the beginning of the GR?
Okay. Gary Radke and I started the company in and around 1998. I had a band called Primal Therapy at the time. It was a rock band doing the music of the group Chase. Remember the group Chase from the 70s? Get It On, Bill Chase, that thing. It was a rock band with 4 trumpets in the horn section. It was pretty wild stuff if you know that group Chase.
Okay, just a second.
Sure.
Let me translate this. Então, a GR começou por volta de 1998. O Brian tinha uma banda que eles tocavam... Era uma banda que tocava o repertório do Bill Chase. Então, eles tinham 4 trompetes na banda.
Yeah. Right, and so I had a website at the time, and it was one of the very few trumpet websites online in the in the mid-90s. And Gary Radke actually sent me an email. I had a CD for sale, and Gary sent me an email. And I answered him. And as it turned out, Gary has a very extensive history in machining. He's a journeyman tool maker. He was working for Master Lock. You know, they make the padlocks. He was working for Master Lock at the time. He was also when he was younger, he was a fine trumpet player, music teacher, school teacher, undertaker. He did many different things.
Okay, what's Master Lock? What's that?
You know the padlock, it's a lock to lock your.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, got it. Okay. Então, por volta de 1998, o Brian tinha dado um CD pro Gary. O Gary é o GR. E o GR é um cara que trabalha bastante com as máquinas para fazer os BOCAIS. Ele tem bastante conhecimento sobre isso. E quando ele era mais jovem, ele foi trompetista, foi professor e tal. Então, ele já tem um histórico dentro da música, dentro do trompete.
So anyhow, at the time, Gary couldn't play his trumpet anymore. He had some dental work done and couldn't play. In Gary's past, he also worked for Harley Davidson motorcycles, doing all their troubleshooting on their lathes, on their machines. That was his job with Master Lock as well. So as you can see, he has extensive experience in machining. Gary was going to be losing his job with Master Lock as they were moving to Mexico. So at the time, he was trying to learn how to play the trumpet again with his new teeth and everything. And he was designing some mouthpieces that he sent to other manufacturers, and they couldn't make what he wanted. So he sent me pictures of the mouthpieces that he was designing, and I said, hey, maybe trumpet players would like this. Next thing I know, he calls me up and he says, I have a shop. I bought $500,000 worth of machinery. We're in business. Let's go. I'm going, okay. and that's pretty well how we started. We hadn't even met each other at the time, just over the phone and over emails. So there was a lot of trust involved, and that's kind of how it started at the very beginning.
Então, naquela época, o Gary estava trabalhando numa empresa chamada da Master Lock, que faz cadeado e tal. E ele também ele tinha trabalhado com a Harley Davidson, então ele tinha bastante experiência com esse negócio das máquinas e como fazer as coisas. E então a Master Lock estava para sair dos Estados Unidos e ir para o México, então o Gary ia ficar desempregado. E aí entrou em contato com o Brian e falou assim, eu tenho aqui um projeto dos BOCAIS e eu tenho grana, e a gente pode começar alguma coisa, uma empresa de BOCAIS, eu compro as máquinas e tudo, e a gente começa. E eles nem se conheciam ao vivo, eles só se conheciam pelo telefone, então foi algo meio baseado na confiança e numa tentativa. E poderia ter dado errado, ou poderia ter dado... Ok.
You good? Okay. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, that's how we started. My role was to be customer service. I designed the GR logo. I did all that, and my job was to build the website, do customer service, handle dealers, and that kind of thing. Well, Gary, he's the genius. He's the guy who does the designs and all of the manufacturing. It's just Gary. So unlike our competitors, where a lot of them were trumpet players who bought a lathe, Gary is actually a very, very accomplished machinist. He's a journeyman tool maker. He's been in the industry, not just making trumpet mouthpieces, but in the machining industry for around 40 years now. So that's how come the GR mouthpieces are absolutely perfect when they come off of his lathe. They look like glass. You'll never see tooling marks in them. And he also came up with the design program, which is very unique in the industry, where the GR mouthpieces do not have discontinuities. Now, a discontinuity is like a speed bump on a highway. You don't want any speed bumps. And ours is the only mouthpiece in the industry that don't have discontinuities. It'll affect the sound wave. So the sound wave goes through.
What's the speed bumps? What does that mean?
Like if you're driving your car, yeah. Hit a bump, hit a tope bump. GR mouthpieces do not have that. So the speed bump affects the sound wave and throws the sound wave off. That's why GR mouthpieces just play better.
Got it. Uhum. Então, o trabalho deles, o Brian foi o cara que fez o logo e ele trabalha na parte de vendas, com os representantes, com o público, ele que responde as mensagens, ele faz o trabalho comercial. E o Gary é o gênio por trás do bocal. É o cara que fez o design dos bocais, que teve todo esse conceito, trouxe esse conceito de frente do GR. Por isso que ele falou que o GR é um bocal único no mercado, porque ele não é parecido com nenhum outro bocal. E ele falou que o bocal GR não tem os bumps, que em inglês, traduzindo, seria não tem quase um degrau, alguma coisa assim, que afeta a onda do sopro. Então, isso, na verdade, é o que faz soar melhor o bocal GR. Okay. I have some questions here.
Absolutely.
Eu recebi uma pergunta aqui falando sobre as diferenças das massas dos blanks, né? Do Classic, Symphonic, Studio, Fat. I got a message. What's the difference between the blanks, the Classic, Symphonic, Studio, and the Fat Boy?
Sure. I actually have some here. Okay. this is our standard or a classic blank. Now you notice it's a fairly, it's got a bit of weight to it. It's not heavy, it's medium, but you see this straight section here. It not only helps focus the sound, but also, if you can picture this as a big tube of brass, okay? And it's in the lathe, and it's turning, and the tool comes in to cut and cut and cut. Well, then when we take it and turn it around and put it back in the lathe, now this big long section here, the lathe has a place to grab a nice big piece here. So that keeps it straight in the lathe as well. So it not only serves a musical purpose, but also a machining purpose as well, where you get like a Bach mouthpiece that has all these little cuts and dimples in it. The lathe can't really grab on that well. But with the GR, it's got this big piece here.
Ok, just a second.
Sure.
Aquele bocal que ele acabou de mostrar é o modelo clássico, né? O Blank. O Blank é isso daqui, ó. Esse é o Blank. Então, o que ele está explicando é assim: imagina que o bocal é um tubo de metal, e aí ele coloca na máquina e a máquina começa a fazer o desenho e cortar o bocal. Falou, essa parte não tem só um princípio musical, é um princípio também na hora de produzir, que a máquina consegue segurar de forma eficiente e sem ter nenhuma inconsistência no movimento. Falou, diferente dos bocais bass, que tem alguns cortes e a máquina não consegue segurar direito, isso na hora de fazer o bocal atrapalha.
Okay, so that is our standard, our best all-around blank. Every time someone if you notice, all of our signature players play this standard classic blank because it's simply the best design. We also have the studio blank. So you can notice it's slightly bigger. Notice slightly. Oh,
sorry. Say again because I lost you. You froze for a second. Okay.
Okay. This is the studio blank, classic blank. So you notice the studio is slightly bigger here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Show them. Ele está mostrando o modelo Classic e o modelo Studio. O modelo Studio, ele tem o blank um pouquinho maior, ele é mais comprido. Da parte direita da imagem. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, some players like the little extra weight, just a little bit more to push. It feels for them a little more solid, like they have more to push against. The next one.
Alguns trompetistas preferem um pouco mais de massa no bocal. Falou que isso ajuda eles na hora que eles forçam um pouco mais para tocar. Eles gostam de empurrar um pouco mais.
Even more, the Fat Boy.
Agora ele está mostrando o modelo Fat Boy, modelo da direita, comparação com o modelo Classic.
Sure. So as you can see, it gives you just a little bit more of a solid feel. Some Latin players, salsa players like this, jazz players, but still people who play a lot in the upper register still seem to come back to this one, the classic.
Ok. O modelo Fat Boy, muitos trompetistas latinos gostam do modelo Fat Boy, principalmente o pessoal que toca salsa, porque sente que dá uma sensação mais sólida. Mas os trompetistas que tocam geralmente no registro agudo preferem o modelo clássico, esse modelo Classic.
Last is the symphonic. So the symphonic, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
A little more here. Poquito más.
Yeah.
Also, notice the length, slightly shorter.
Oh, it's a little bit, yeah. O modelo sinfônico, ele tem o blank um pouquinho menor do que o modelo Classic, e a parte aqui da borda é um pouco maior. Então, e também ele é mais curto, o modelo Symphonic. Why the Symphonic length is smaller? What does it affect? The trumpet blank?
What it does is it makes the overall mouthpiece a little bit shorter, the throat a little bit shorter, and it makes the blow more open. In most cases, it is better on a C trumpet because most C trumpets play a little bit tighter than the B flat trumpet. So it balances out the blow slightly.
Okay. And the throat is the same size, or is it smaller?
It depends on the model. On some of the larger models, the throat is a little bit larger. Also very important is not only just the straight throat section, but the entrance going into the throat at the very bottom of the cup. 1 second.
Ok, I will translate this. Ele falou que o modelo Symphonic ele é um pouco mais curto, porque é mais indicado para o trompete em dó, que o trompete em dó ele tem a tendência de tocar mais apertado do trompete si bemol. Então eles encontraram essa forma de balancear melhor, ter um equilíbrio melhor na hora de tocar.
So you'll see at the bottom of this mouthpiece right here, it's tighter going into the throat, where here,
yeah, I can see it now.
Here, it's a little more open going in. So you get going into the throat as opposed to the other one, which is more like that, going into the throat. So this one will blow tighter. This one will blow more open. It's just a different design for different purposes, different horns, in different players. One isn't better than the other. It just matches a different player or horn differently.
Okay, so the Symphonic is more open than...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
O que ele explicou é que a diferença também está na garganta. Não o tamanho da garganta, mas o formato que inicia a garganta. O formato do Symphonic, ele é um pouco mais aberto, então ele vem aqui. Ele vem e desce, diferente do Classic, que ele é mais assim, right? The Classic one is more like this and the other ones.
It really depends on, that can change too with the different models. But that is just one thing on generally with the symphonic blanks, they just all around the blow a little more open. So the length has something to do with it. Generally, they are larger cups as well and a little more open going into the throat.
Uma coisa também é que o Blank Symphonic, o Symphonic Blank, a sensação é mais livre, é uma sensação mais aberta na hora de soprar. We have some questions. Antes de eu pegar aqui as perguntas, eu vou pedir para ele explicar um pouquinho o que é o ângulo alfa. A gente tem muita dificuldade em entender isso daqui. So before we start with the questions, I want to explain a little bit about the alpha angle.
Oh, absolutely.
What's that and how that affects the playing?
Okay. Okay. Can we see this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, here we go. This would be the outside of the mouthpiece, onto the rim, down, into the cup.
Okay.
I have to do this backwards. This angle right here, is the alpha angle. That was terrible. So anyway, as it happens, the outside of the mouthpiece. Let me get my camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so the outside. Here we go. Outside of the mouthpiece here. So the outside of the mouthpiece goes up and then into the rim and then down into the cup. This is a high alpha angle. That is a low alpha angle. A high alpha angle.
Bom, a gente voltou aqui. Vamos começar a falar de novo da parte que a gente parou, falando sobre a diferença do ângulo alfa, do ângulo alto e do ângulo baixo. So, Brian, tell us how is the feel with the high alpha angle and angle?
I'm sorry, Bruno, you were really broken up there again. What was the question?
Okay. Yeah, tell us how is the feel on the lips when you have like a high alpha angle and the low alpha angle?
Okay. A higher alpha angle can give you more support. It can feel almost like so with a higher alpha angle. Lower alpha angle, a little more like that. So depending on the mouthpiece and the rim, it could give the rim a little more grip with a lower alpha angle. But if it's too low for you, you won't be able to get compression. Upper register will be difficult. Endurance will be difficult. If it's too high for you, you're going to hear it as soon as you start playing. You might hear, you may hear like a before articulations. I'll try to demonstrate that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a mouthpiece that I just can't play because the alpha angle is so high for me. You hear how the articulations are f. That's a very, very high alpha angle for me. Not accurate at all.
Yeah, let's introduce
this one.
Let's introduce the beginning. A diferença da sensação do ângulo alfa alto e do mais baixo é que no mais alto você tem uma quina um pouco mais tranquila, assim, um pouco mais suave. E o baixo você tem uma quina mais acentuada, você sente mais. Então, no ângulo baixo, seu lábio entra mais e você consegue ter uma sensação de tá preso. Mais firmeza. Mas isso depende do trompetista. Falou, ele demonstrou agora, se você pega um bocal com um ângulo alfa muito alto, o que acontece é que antes da articulação começa a sair um pouco de ar, você não fica com aquela articulação precisa. Yeah, go ahead.
So once again, this is an alpha angle that's too, for me, it's too high, not giving lips enough room. Here, it's not letting my lips vibrate full. Here's one where the alpha angle...
Aquele é um ângulo alfa muito alto para ele, assim, não dá espaço para ele, para os lábios dele vibrarem com tranquilidade.
This one is too big for me. Alpha angle is too low. Right? Too big. It's not giving me enough compression. You have to find the one that seems to give you support, yet also room to vibrate. This one's closer. So you can hear how that one gave support, yet also room for my lips to buzz freely without being pinched.
Ok. Just a second. O segundo bocal que mostrou tem um ângulo alfa muito baixo para ele. Então o lábio entra muito dentro do bocal. E o que acontece é que ele perde um pouco de compressão. Não dá aquela tipo um vácuo, né? Para o lábio ficar ali e dar aquela compressão. Então ele fica... e você perde um pouco da flexibilidade. E esse último que ele mostrou é um bocal mais próximo do que seria o ideal para ele. We have a question here.
Okay.
Do you want to add something?
Oh, I was just going to say, when you're testing mouthpieces, you can hear if the alpha angle is too high because it's going to give you a sizzle sound. It's not going to be a full sound. And you can hear when it's too low, when it sounds dull and just too woofy, just too dull and open.
Yeah, maybe too dark.
Could be too dark. Also, you won't be able to play an alpha angle that's too low for you for more than 5 or 10 minutes before you're tired and you can't play anymore.
Ok.
So,
uma coisa legal aqui para saber quando você está testando um bocal, para saber se o ângulo alfa é o ideal para você. Se o ângulo alfa, quando o ângulo alfa é muito alto, o que acontece é que você perde um pouco de articulação, a articulação vem um pouco de ar, o som fica um pouco de ar, fica um pouco de chiado. E quando o ângulo alfa é muito baixo, o que acontece é que você fica com um som mais opaco, um som um pouco mais escuro. O que acontece assim, depois de 5, 10, 15 minutos você não consegue tocar mais porque cansa muito. Então é um bocal que não está ideal para a sua embocadura. Aqui do João Lenhar. How works how to make a custom mouthpiece in person? How much is that, and how long does it take?
Okay, we can do custom work. As you know, Gary Radke has done custom work for Eric Miyashiro, Wayne Bergeron, Louis Dowdswell, numerous other players, Carl Fisher. It's always best to have the player in the shop with Gary to do that. Many times players think they need something, and usually they're not correct. To make a custom mouthpiece, right now, we are not doing it because we're so busy trying to fill our dealer orders and trying to fill our standard orders that we are not doing custom work at this time. A custom mouthpiece will start at $300 and go up, but really, we have so many models in our database that I'm sure we probably have designed something already that would work for anyone. And usually that's the best way to go. Getting custom work done is very difficult. It can be expensive. And it's always best if you're in the shop with Gary himself, as opposed to, we don't like to guess. We want to get it right.
And how long could it take? Like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days in the shop?
1 full day is best. But once again, we're so busy that we just don't even offer that right now. Maybe someday we can do that. Yeah. Right now we can't. If a player wanted to tell us what he thinks he needs, I discourage that because most times it's not correct and we don't like to fail.
Ok. Ele falou para quem quer fazer um bocal customizado, o ideal seria ir lá na fábrica e passar 1 dia, 2 dias lá com eles e fazer o bocal. Falou, como aconteceu com o Wayne Bergeron, com o Luiz Dodds, o Eric Miyashiro, o Carl Fisher, todos eles são artistas da GR. Para fazer um vocal customizado, custa iniciando a partir de $300. Mas, como eles estão muito ocupados, está com muita demanda, eles não estão com esse serviço. Então, e eles também não estão pegando ofertas, assim, você não consegue enviar um e-mail e falar, eu quero vocal tal, mandar suas especificações. Eles falaram que muitas vezes os trompetistas não sabem o que eles estão querendo, e aí acaba fazendo um vocal totalmente errado. Por isso que o ideal é passar um dia lá com eles. Mas no momento eles estão sem previsão de quando eles vão fazer isso novamente. Okay, another question.
Sure, Bruno, before we go on, just to add to that, I would ask the player what mouthpiece he's playing now. Has he ever played a GR mouthpiece before? What horn he's playing, what style of music, and what problems is he having? So the big thing is, has he tried a GR mouthpiece? And if not, then I would suggest something for him to try, obviously through you or wherever he is in the world, the easiest place to try, and go from there. Also, let your customers know, I guess I am right now, but anyone that wants to deal with you, if they have questions, they can email me in whichever language they speak. I'm trying to learn Spanish. I know it's not Portuguese. I'm trying to learn Spanish, but I'm really not that smart. But I can use Google Translate. So it's not perfect, but it can work. If anyone has questions they want to ask me directly.
Ok. Uma coisa que ele quis adicionar é que eles têm uma quantidade enorme de bocais, já são variedades enormes, então provavelmente o que eles têm, eles conseguem oferecer assim para a maioria dos trompetistas. Uma coisa que é importante, assim, se você tem alguma pergunta sobre qual vocal usar, se você não sabe qual escolher, pode mandar um e-mail para ele, que mesmo em qualquer língua, ele usa o Google Tradutor e dá um jeito de responder. E ele precisa saber, você já testou o vocal GR? Se sim, qual medida você usa de vocal atualmente, qual marca, qual estilo de música você toca, qual problema você está tendo, qual trompete você usa, e aí ele consegue te direcionar melhor qual o vocal ideal para você. Ok, one more question.
Sure.
Os modelos C é modelo sinfônico, os outros são classic. The C model is a symphonic blank, and the other ones are classic blanks?
Yes, generally. The C2 star, which we have here, is the symphonic blank. Generally, most others are classic blank. And it's just because of the design. It's just because the way Gary designed this to blow a little more open and match most C trumpets. This is the C2 star is our most popular model for most C trumpet players.
C stars, right?
C2 star.
Ok,
Yep.
ok. Esse é o modelo C 2 estrelas. Geralmente os modelos C tem um blank sinfônico. Eles soam com você como tem uma sensação mais livre ao soprar. Foi a forma que o Gary desenvolveu o vocal. Então eles têm o blank sinfônico.
And this is also the C. This is just the C. So the C is also symphonic.
O modelo C 2 estrelas. Esse é o modelo C. E o outro é o modelo C 2 estrelas.
And it's just because of that particular design. The symphonic blank does not really work well with the other designs. It works perfectly well with these designs. It's just the way that Gary designed it to blow a particular way. In the C series, we have the C star, which is a classic blank, most popular on B flat trumpet. The C2 star, symphonic blank, it blows a little more open.
Okay.
And then the C, it blows really big and open, really big. And the main difference is not only the blank, but also down in the throat. Remember before we said the more open throat for the C.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a design. It's just the way these particular models were designed. That's all.
O que ele está querendo dizer que são os modos como eles foram, o design foi feito, né? Então o modelo C, o modelo C 2 estrelas tem um blank sinfônico e o modelo C star presence here. Look this.
Who's this guy?
We have another question. As diferenças do BOCAIS L, LX, MX e C. Can you tell us the difference between the L, LX, and NX?
Okay. The LX has the lower alpha angle and a deeper cup. Pretty large mouthpiece. Think Bach 1 1/4, depending on the diameter. Rodrigo, what are you playing now? What mouthpiece are you playing now? Is it a Bach 3, Bach 1.5, Bach 1? And I can tell you which model is close. The LX has a fairly big cup. The L is slightly smaller, not as deep as the LX. And the MX is a little smaller than the L. The MX and the L are both very close. Where the MX is going to sound more out front, the L is going to be more around you. Okay. The main difference between the C and those other mouthpieces, Bruno, is the C has a slightly higher alpha angle. Still a big cup, but slightly higher alpha angle for a little more support.
Ok. O que ele disse é que o modelo C tem um ângulo alfa mais alto, vai ter um pouco mais de suporte, né? Um pouco mais de apoio. O modelo MX e o modelo L, eles têm um formato quase parecido. A diferença é que o modelo MX ele soa um pouco mais de projeção, e o modelo L é um pouco mais cheio, você consegue um pouco mais de volume. O modelo LX ele é um pouco mais fundo do que o modelo L. I have a question. What's the best seller or the best sellers for mouthpiece for classical players?
Okay, well, our very best-selling mouthpiece is 66M. It's right in the middle. I'm sure with most companies that a similar size is probably also their best seller because it's right in the middle of everything. It suits most players. Pardon me. For classic players, a lot of classical players play a 66 diameter or larger. So 66 is around a Bach 3 diameter. 67 is like Bach 1.5 and around there. A lot of classical players are playing the 67 diameter, 67C, C2 star, 67C star, 67L, 67LX. Those are probably our most popular classical models. However, once again, it depends on the player and the horn.
Okay, so the 66M is the best seller, and the 66.6.
Yeah, those. You got to remember too that all of our mouthpieces are designed using the same mathematics. So it's not that one is better than the other. It's just that one may fit you better than it fits me. So the whole thing is to not only make the perfect design mouthpiece, but to match it perfectly to the player and his particular horn.
Ok. Eu perguntei para ele qual que é o bocal dito assim mais vendido da BR. E ele falou que o mais vendido é o bocal 66M, o 3C, mas ele falou que o 66.6 também é um bocal bem vendido. É um bocal que é bem procurado, porque ele fica ali quase em torno de quase 1,5, entre um 3, 2 ali. E isso não quer dizer que os bocais não são bons, isso quer dizer que os modelos matemáticos deles são tão próximos, assim, tão perfeitos, que atende a maioria das pessoas. Então, na verdade, um bocal 66M é um bocal que fica ali no meio das numerações, então a maioria das pessoas acaba escolhendo. And what is the seller for commercial playing?
For commercial playing, we have a number of really great selling mouthpieces. We just saw Carl Fisher a moment ago sticking his nose in here. His models sell very well, the Carl Fisher Fish Lips and the Jazz and the Rockstar. He's got a number of models that sell very well for commercial players. Wayne Bergeron series sells very well. Louis Dowdeswell series sells very well. From our line, we also have the Northern Brass series. From the GR line, the 64 diameter, 64Z or Z, depending on how you wish to say it, 64SZ, 65SZ, 66SZ. It's usually the SZ or SZ cups that sell very well for commercial players, depending on which cup diameter they prefer.
Ok. Perguntei para ele quais são os bocais comerciais, assim, para música que são os mais vendidos. Aí ele disse que os bocais modelo Carl Fisher, modelo Louis Dowdeswell, modelo Wayne Bergeron, que é o modelo da Northern Brass também, que são muito vendidos. E da linha da GR, os bocais mais procurados para música comercial é o 64S, 64Z, 64SZ, 65SZ, 66SZ, depende do modelo, do tamanho, assim, do diâmetro do bocal.
Carl has too much time on his hands.
Oh, yeah. And for jazz solo, what's the best seller?
Well, once again, a lot of players prefer the 66 diameter because it's right in the middle. It's something they're probably used to coming off of a Bach 3C. Our 66 series, 66M. The M cup is a very good all-around mouthpiece. You can play lead on it, or you can back off and play nice and soft and smoky, however you want to call it. Anything around the M cup is, depending on, once again, on the cup diameter that the player prefers. The M cup is a very, very popular model for all-around playing. A lot of jazz players, a lot of students, and a lot of professionals prefer that cup for their all-around work. So I would say anything with the M cup. Once again, the 66 being the most popular. Mm-hmm.
Ok. Eu perguntei qual o bocal mais indicado para jazz solo. Ele falou que do diâmetro que o trompetista gosta e prefere, mas ele falou que seria em torno do copo M. Ele falou que provavelmente o 66M é o mais indicado, assim, o mais procurado. People are asking about the SB Cup.
Okay.
Concept.
Okay. I might even have one somewhere here. But basically, the SB Cup is a commercial or high compression cup for players that can't play the higher alpha angle. A lot of commercial cups have the higher alpha angle, but the SB, it's a little more medium, almost like an M cup, but it's got a slightly smaller cup volume and a tighter entrance going into the throat, which creates a lot of compression. So if you can't play a really shallow mouthpiece, but you need to play a lot of upper register work, the SB might be a good mouthpiece for you, especially if you have a very open playing trumpet. If you have a trumpet with a large bell or a big open blow, the SB is a perfect mouthpiece. While you're translating this, I'll try to find one and see if I can show it to you on camera.
Ok. Perguntaram aqui qual normalmente os bocais com copo comercial, eles têm o ângulo alfa mais alto. E tem algumas pessoas que não conseguem se sentir confortável com esse ângulo alfa mais alto. Então o USB ele tem um ângulo alfa mais baixo. Isso te permite colocar um pouco mais de... E a diferença também é que a entrada é maior que o modelo standard. Então, acho que é em torno de uma garganta 28 menos o modelo USB. Isso te dá mais conforto na hora de tocar. E também é bem indicado assim, para pessoas que competem modelos largos, então large bore. Esse é o modelo USB.
See, so you can see how coming into here, it's very tight going into there, into the throat. But there's still a lot of lip room, for your. So if you need to play upper register but cannot play a very shallow mouthpiece, the SB it's a good choice.
Ok, o bocal tem um pouco mais de espaço dentro, você consegue colocar mais lá. Então, para quem precisa tocar no registro agudo e não consegue tocar um bocal tão rápido, o USB pode ser uma boa opção. That's great. Another question. This is a good one. Qual a diferença? Eu vou fazer uma pergunta parecida, viu, Valdir? Qual a diferença entre a linha 66 e a linha 3? Can you tell us about the difference between the 66 series and 3 series? Esse é o modelo 3M.
So it's very, very, very similar to the 66M. Very close.
É bem similar ao 66M.
Rim is a little more flat. Bite is a little softer. More like a Bach 3 rim, but not quite. It's a GR design, but something more similar to a Bach 3. However, most players prefer our standard rim on the 66. It gives them a little more support and gives them a slightly faster response, in most cases.
Ok. A diferença do bocal 3M, dessa linha 3, é que a borda ela é um pouquinho mais achatada, um pouquinho mais plana, e aqui na tela um pouquinho mais suave, mas a maioria dos trompetistas preferem ao M. Agora esqueci. Can you say again why people choose the 66? I forgot what you said.
Sorry, you're broken up there, Bruno. Why they choose the 66 rim over the 3 rim in most cases?
Yeah.
Okay. In most cases, it gives them a faster response, articulation cleaner, and a little more support. We did an experiment a number of years ago where we made 3 mouthpieces, a 3M, a 66M, and another one with a Bach 3 rim on it. It was a Bach with our M cup. We engraved on them red, blue, and yellow, so no one knew what they were. And 50 trumpet players tested them, and 85% of the time they preferred our standard 66 rim. So, yeah.
O bocal, a maioria dos trompetistas prefere o 66M em relação ao 3M, né? Porque ele tem uma resposta mais rápida e a articulação mais limpa, uma articulação mais clara também. Falou, e alguns anos atrás eles fizeram um experimento com 3 bocais, era um 66M, 3M e um outro bocal similar a um bar 3C, e eles colocaram cores nos bocais, e em vez de estar marcado o nome, e mandaram para 50 trompetas. Eles preferiram o bocal 66M. Ok.
So 3M, 66M. You might be able to see the slight difference in the rim contour. It's hard to see with the little camera, but you can maybe see that this one is a little more rounded, a little wider out here.
O da esquerda, o vocal 66M, o da direita, o vocal 3M. O esquerdo, o 66M, ele é uma borda um pouco mais arredondada. E uma borda um pouquinho mais, um pouquinho maior do que o 3M, que é uma borda mais plana. Cool. Hey Alexis. That's a great trumpet player.
Saludos, Alexis.
Yeah. Here's another question. Sobre os backboards e as diferenças sonoras entre eles. What the sound difference between the backboards?
Well, as far as sound difference, I believe that you're always going to end up sounding like you. And my best way to describe that is Doc Severinsen. If you listen to him from many years ago up until today, you can listen to 3 notes that he plays and you know right away who it is. Yet he has used thousands of different mouthpieces and hundreds of different trumpets, yet he always sounds like him. So if you have a mouthpiece that matches you and it's not too extreme and you don't have to manipulate to play it, you're going to end up sounding like you. But we have a number of different backbores. Each offers a different blow resistance for a different purpose or to match a different horn. A more commercial backbore is going to play a little tighter because that's what you need, that compression for playing high all the time. We offer a middle of the road backbore that matches that style of playing in those cups. Basically think of the mouthpiece as a complete design as opposed to different little parts. And all the parts of that design, all the parameters have to match. And it also has to match the player and the instrument. However, the bigger backboards are going to take some edge off the sound and perhaps match some trumpets like a C trumpet better than the smaller backboards. It's all a balancing game.
Right. Ele falou que a diferença entre os bocais, a diferença sonora, provavelmente todos eles vão acabar soando como você soa. Se você pega o Doc Severinsen, na terceira nota que ele toca, você já sabe que é o Doc Severinsen, não importa com que bocal ou que trompete que ele esteja. Mas falando sobre a diferença entre os backboards, você pega um bocal comercial, um backboard vai ser mais apertado, porque você precisa de mais compressão. Eles têm também um bocal ou um backboard mais mediano, que fica ali no meio do caminho. E o backboard maior é um backboard que vai te dar, vai ser talvez um balanço melhor com trompete em dó. Mas tudo isso tem que ter um equilíbrio com o copo, com a borda, com você. Então depende, assim, é uma matemática que tem que pegar o todo, não é só o backboard ou só o copo, tem que ser uma coisa conjunta. What's similar to a Schilke 14A4?
We would be looking at a 66Z 2-star, a 66Z star, 66SZ. Now, Matu, what would be the problems you are having with that mouthpiece? If you can answer what problems you're having, I can probably give you a better idea of which one to look at.
And actually, I think he is looking for something similar to that mouthpiece. He wants to try probably GR. I believe that he never tried that before.
Okay. Is he having any problems with articulation or accuracy? That kind of thing. If he is,
okay,
he might need a little more edge on the rim, like the 66 SZ. If not, if he just wants to try something similar, I'll see if I can find one. I would look at the 66Z Star. It's going to give him a little more room.
Here he's answering. Yeah. He's looking for the same ring, but with more sound and harmonics.
Okay.
In the sound.
Ok.
Matu, ele está falando que o similar ao 14A4 seria em torno do 66SZ, 66SZ estrela. Falou, mas ele precisa saber qual problema você está tendo para ele poder indicar melhor.
This is the 66Z 2-star. It's going to give him a feel on the rim that he is very familiar with, yet a little bit lower alpha angle, which should give him a bigger sound and probably more accuracy. 66Z 2-star, that would be the one I would look at first. If he's happy with the 14A4 but wants something with a little more lip room for a bigger sound.
Ele falou que te indicaria para iniciar assim com 66SZ 2 estrelas, porque ele... Não, 66SZ 2 estrelas. Porque tem um ângulo alfa um pouco mais baixo e o tamanho da borda é bem parecido com 14A4. Então, isso vai te dar a mesma sensação no lado do ring, né, do diâmetro, e vai te dar um pouco mais de som por causa do... a gente vai terminar logo. Alguém tem mais alguma pergunta? Can you show us a little bit your mouthpiece over there? I know you have a lot.
Okay.
Eu pedi para ele mostrar os vocais lá. How many mouthpieces do you have there? Do you know?
There's about 150 right there, and I probably have another 50 in my locker here. There's probably 3,000 different designs that we have on file. Yeah.
Uou. Oh. Ele tem ali na mesa em torno de 150 bocais e mais uns 50 bocais guardados e tem bastante coisa assim. Ok. Last question.
Sure.
Gostaria que ele falasse dos bocais 66Z 1 estrela e 66Z 2 estrelas. What's the difference between them?
Okay. Here's the Z2 star. They look pretty well the same.
Yeah.
However, the difference is right here. Right there.
The bite.
On the bite. Yes, the bite. On the Z, it's a little more like that. On the Z2 star, Z2 star a little more like that. On the Z, a little more like that. So just a little more grip on the Z star. On the Z star, a little more grip.
A diferença entre o 66Z 1 estrela pro 66Z 2 estrelas é que o 66Z 1 estrela tem mais quina. A quina é maior, o outro é um pouco assim. Essa é a diferença. Eles são muito parecidos. pergunta aqui do Jefferson Quebradeira. What was the similar to a Yamaha?
Usually the Yamaha 11s are similar to our 64 diameter. Could be a 65 depending on the particular Yamaha mouthpiece because they're not all consistent. I would say to try 64M and a 65M first and see which cup diameter you prefer. 64M, 65M. If I were to say try one, it would be the 64M I would try first, if you could only try one.
Ok. Ele falou que a linha 11B da Yamaha ficaria em torno do 64M, mas como os bocais não são muito, pode ser também o 65M. Ele falou, se for para te indicar um bocal para testar e tal, ele falou, começa pelo 64M, vai ser o mais...
Oh, and hello, Jefferson, by the way.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about the Zone 1 model?
Okay. Big mouthpiece. It's a big classical mouthpiece, going to give you a big robust sound. It plays way too big for me. In fact, I demonstrated this one earlier when I just picked this one out of the box when I was showing you what mouthpieces would not work for me because it's too big. The Zone 1 is a fairly large mouthpiece, almost a 680 diameter, 680. Big, classical, robust, big. If you're used to playing a larger mouthpiece, it's an excellent design. Probably going to give you a little more focus than a larger Bach 1, let's say. It's going to give you more focus, probably more overtones as well.
Okay, so it's very similar to a Bach 1C, right?
It's around that size. If a Bach 1C player were to come to me and say, hey, I want to try a mouthpiece around there, absolutely, this would be one of the ones I would suggest.
Ok. Ele falou que o modelo Zone 1 ele é muito similar ao Bach 1C. Não é igual, é bem similar. E a diferença do bocal GR é que ele vai te dar um tom mais focado do que o bocal Bach. Essa é a diferença aqui que ele falou nos bocais. Another question. We're having many questions now. Por que não estão fabricando os modelos Fat Boys? Why you get like a Fat Boy model?
Why do they get them?
Yeah.
Some players prefer a little more weight. They just like the feel. What it does is it deadens the vibration back to the player. So some players feel they can push a little bit harder. I'll play a Fat Boy and I'll play the same model in our classic.
No. His question is about why it's hard to get one, to order one.
Oh, it's not hard to get one.
Okay.
It's a special model that we do not keep in stock, but we can make them, no problem. If you ordered one, it would take about 6-7 weeks maybe to get you one because it has to be made and it has to be sent to get plated. But we can make the Fat Boy in any model. My question would be, I would first ask the player questions to see if they really, really wanted one or if they really, really needed one. They might want it, but it might not be the right thing for them. And we always try to make sure that they're purchasing something that they really need and not just want.
Ok. Ele disse que não é que é difícil conseguir o Fat Boy. Na verdade, como é um grande saída, tão procurado, eles não têm estoque. Então, mas dá para pedir, leva em torno de 6 a 8 semanas para ficar pronto, porque eles têm que fazer, mandar para banhar, fazer o banho e tudo. Mas ele falou que a coisa que ele faria para quem está querendo, se realmente, assim, a pessoa está querendo o bocal e se ela realmente precisa desse modelo. Que a maioria das pessoas não precisam desse modelo. Outros modelos resolvem o que elas estão procurando. Temos algumas perguntas aqui. Uh, 66.8B to what's that similar to? And is there a B cup?
Yes. We have the 66.8B and the 66.8C. Generally, the C plays a little more open, so if you're playing a 66.8, the C may match your C trumpet a little better than the B, because it's more open to match a tighter C trumpet. So William, the 66.8 is somewhere around Bach 1.5 diameter. And the rim on that is something, it's a little flatter than our standard 66 rim or 67 rim. It's something that a lot of Bach 1.5 players seem to like if they're having no real problems with their Bach 1.5 but want to try a GR. So yeah, it's just another model where the rim is slightly flatter than our standard 67. So,
ok.
Bach 1.5, I'd say, if you're a Bach 1.5 player, it's a good choice.
Ele falou que o modelo 66.8 seria em torno de um bocal 1 bar 1,5C, e eles têm o copo B. Falou que o 66.8C ele seria mais indicado para o trompete em dó, e o modelo B mais indicado para o trompete, provavelmente si bemol. Últimas perguntas, hein?
That's the 66.8 right there.
Esse é o modelo 66.8. Great. GR metal. Is it that Mouthpiece companies?
Sorry, Bruno, you were broken up there. Question is about the metal in our mouthpieces.
Oh yeah. I'm back now.
Okay.
He wants to know why the GR metal is better than the other mouthpiece companies.
I don't know that it's any different than other mouthpiece companies. We use brass. The exact composition of the brass, I couldn't tell you. Gary Radke probably could. It's generally the same brass stock that any other company would use. The real difference in quality is the workmanship and the design. It's what Gary does with that metal that makes it better.
O que ele disse é que eles usam a mesma liga metálica, eles usam latão, e com a mesma porcentagem lá que provavelmente as outras usam. Ele falou que está no metal, mas a forma como o Gary faz o bocal. Ele falou que aí o Gary sabe melhor como ele faz, mas ele pode assegurar que não é uma diferença de matéria-prima, uma diferença na construção. Bom, eu acho que é isso aí. Não, Polac, não vou fazer sua pergunta, não. Eu acho que é isso daí. Já tenho mais de quase 1h30 de live. A gente pode fazer uma outra no futuro. So, Brian, I think we are good for today.